Hello, good afternoon. I'm quite excited because this is something that I've been waiting to show you and wanting to show you since last year. But to get it in the time frame that you're going to want to harvest it, you have to catch it at a really awkward point, and I didn't last year. I failed to. So this year I have it for you. This is, we call it wood avens. It has an old-fashioned name called clove root, which tells us something about what I'll be explaining as we go through the video. Its proper name is Geum urbanum, and it is a really, really common, annoying for a lot of people, garden weed that people who have gardens and allotments often spend a lot of time pulling out and battling over the course of the year. And I'm here to tell you that now is the time to go out and catch it and pull it up, because whilst we can't wander around in the UK pulling things out of the ground without permission, firstly, many people are going to have this in their garden. Secondly, if you don't, someone is going to be happy to give you permission because they want it out of their garden. And it's one of our native wild spices, which I've talked about quite a lot before. I'm quite passionate about our beautiful wild spices and how underused they are and underappreciated. And this is quite an interesting one. So, basic ID features first. This has, let's get a big leaf first. So you can see on a mature leaf, it has a kind of big terminal leaf and then a couple underneath. Often this looks more like, here we go, more like a kind of three-lobed, almost looks like one leaf. So people often recognise it like this, but if it gets big enough, they are separate leaves, they will look more separate. Down the stems, underneath that terminal leaf and the bigger ones next to it, it has these tiny little leaflets, kind of almost opposite each other on the stem, but not quite, of differing sizes, and they'll go all the way down and be smaller than those end leaves, but often not so small. If the stem is big, they'll be bigger. On little ones, you can see 3 up at the top, and then almost pairs in varying sizes as you go down. The leaves are a bit kind of lobed or serrated, kind of soft points they come to. This is more or less obvious depending on the age and size of the leaf. Where are we? There we go. They are hairy. There's a good example of that on this big one. You see that? Lots of little hairs that have caught the water. Oh, let's have some focus. There we go. And the stems are hairy too. The stem has a groove that runs all the way along what I think of as the top side of it. So where the tops of the leaves are, there's a groove that runs along that top. So when you look in cross section at the stem, it's like a little kind of fat U, I guess. I'm not sure how much else we can cover in terms of, I suppose the veins on the back are quite prominent. They stand out. They all stem from that central point where it joins the stem of the plant, and fan out from there and branch as they go, as opposed to having one down the middle and lots coming out from that one. But when you're pretty sure you've got it, a nice easy way to check, provided you're on your own land or have permission, is to uproot it. So this is one that I uprooted a moment ago. As you can see, it's got this fat little root in the middle, and then lots of smaller ones that come out. This does make it a little awkward to pull up, and probably why it's such a good successful weed in gardens, because I'm sure that if you leave bits of this, it'll probably manage to carry on growing from them. But it's not these little ones we want, they're a bit awkward. But you can see if I scrape away some of the dirt, between the little ones is actually quite a big fat root in the middle. And this contains the same compound, the same volatile oil as you find in cloves. It's called eugenol, and it's not as concentrated, but if you scratch, and like if you're as old as me, you'll remember as a kid having those stickers that you scratch and you give them a little sniff. And this does smell more gently than cloves do, but like cloves. So if you're pulling it out anyway, it's one to have a play with. I haven't had much of a play with before because I tend to only have very small amounts in my garden, but this is one of the places that I have permission to teach on, so I'm going to take a few out of here today and see if I can come up with any interesting ideas and ways of using it and share a recipe with you. Do like and subscribe. I'm making fewer videos at the moment just because it's been Christmas and festive season and things, but I am going to up the number that I'm making now, and you'll get a ping if you like and subscribe and press the little bell for notifications. Do follow us on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. I'm Ashdown Forage. If you want to contribute to the content I'm making, finding it valuable and learning a lot from the videos, then you can. I'll put the Buy Me a Coffee link underneath. And enjoy your foraging. I am about to go home and play with the last bits of the website that I'm putting together after my last one went defunct while I was on sabbatical. But I'm going to be listing this week the first batch of courses for the year. So you can start coming, if you're local to us in Sussex, you can start coming on courses and learning in person how to identify all of these things. And we can, learn what you can eat, learn some poisons, learn some ideas of how to use them, and do that together. And either way, it's a nice time to get out for a forage. You can see absolutely gorgeous out here.